I have Mr. Jerry Hayes. Good morning.
Good morning, Brenda. How are you today?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. I'm so happy to meet you because you may have seen his face, everybody. Have you ever done any commercials?
I've never had a desire to do commercials, but I appreciate people who do.
Yeah,
Like that.
I've done
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
I've done them.
yeah.
I mean, they're interesting, especially when people say, "I saw you." Um, so, Jerry, where'd you grow up? Tell us everything.
A
Speak
little bit
into the
about
mic.
me. Uh, in my early childhood, we grew up in Highland Park for a while, Detroit. Then eventually, by my teenage life, we moved to Sterling Heights, Michigan. And I had various coaches growing up. And, I watched the old movies, fell in love with acting as a little boy. I'd skip school and go read about actors and how they learned their craft. And my mother would come drag me out and say, little boys, do not skip school. Read
Right,
about
right,
acting.
right. Absolutely. Well, let's look at a little bit of what you do. It's a clipping. I think this is the Jerry Hayes clipping that shows a little bit of your acting
My demo reel.
prowess, your demo reel. It should be up here in a second.
Because if you
We're trying
don't,
to see
you're
it.
going
Well,
to be
why don't
begging
we
for
wait
one.
until he
You
makes sure
surprised to
it's
see me,
queued up?
Dolores? Did you think I died when my plane went down?
Oh, okay. Okay, he's checking it. He's checking it. What kind of roles do you play?
Oh, I play various roles. I play a lot of mobsters, detectives. I think they all have strength in common, whether I'm a teacher. In the 10th, I was a loving doctor, and getting out, uh,
Well, you direct too.
I directed
So
and
let's
acted in the
see if
10th.
we have the 10th on.
Sure.
Some of the 10th. This is a film, and I've had Barika Pace on. She wrote it,
She
right?
was the writer and producer
And
of the 10th.
producer. And the 10th was about, and it should be on a second, it's about a family, black families,
Five black families.
five black
Birmingham.
I
families
don't
in
want you here.
Birmingham, Michigan.
Wait. Where are you going?
Oh!
He always used to tell me not to go driving on Highland Road, and then he just went driving on Highland Road. In a storm.
What's up, Kevin? What you listening to?
Jay-Z,
I don't sound like Jay-Z. What, you too good to call me or something?
I've been busy.
Busy doing what? What you been so busy doing, Kevin?
I played 21 questions with you, that's for sure. Well, maybe we should get together sometime. What has it been? 17, 18 years?
Hey, Mom. I found a table.
Mom?
Hi, I'm Cameron.
Hey, I heard you had a son. I guess I thought he'd be a little bit younger.
So nice to see someone so unconcerned about her calorie intake. I mean, really? Who needs that kind of pressure, right?
You know, Courtney.
Well, excuse me.
So, do you wanna like go out sometime?
Really? Like, on a date?
Yeah, like our first official date.
Okay. Sounds like fun.
I really gotta go.
Walk me out.
Okay.
Sorry about that, man. It ain't over.
She gave me her number and this.
Since Courtney moved to New York a couple months ago, I haven't seen my daughter in weeks, and everything's gotta be perfect, okay?
And it will be. We just need to make sure everything's perfect tomorrow. It's gonna be on national television.
Kelly, I got this.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
Yeah, all forgiven. I miss you, right?
I missed you too.
Is that right? Right.
What about your mom?
She's away.
Away where?
Visiting sick people. Look, can we stop talking about my parents? Is my life really that fascinating?
You're a legend.
I'm an unfit parent. Miss Candy Kane? That was her stripper name. Put that in your damn subpoena.
Go to Hal Ty.
Baby? I'm having a baby?
Child you're carrying will face severe challenges, Nicole.
Look, I'm not some patient off the street. I get it, okay? I understand.
Hey, it's your sister.
What do Gwen want now?
It's about your father.
Tell her I'm out. See? All right, just tell her I'm out.
He's in the hospital, Dad.
And that is part of the trailer for the film The 10th. Now, how did you get to direct it? And I noticed that you're in it too.
Yes, I was an actor in the 10th. I'm usually an actor who directs. I primarily an actor. Sean and Barika, I had auditioned for, and they wanted me in the film. And then they realized that I knew something about directing.
Right.
I had directed a while before when I was younger, and I was very busy with the Midnight Hour, the TV show.
Right,
and we had Getting Out coming out. And the crew I worked on the Midnight Hour with, Mossman Editorial.
Yeah, right. I was just trying to get my producers get her attention a second to tell her she's a guest. Okay, thank you.
The crew.
The crew.
Oh, the crew's amazing. I did the Midnight Hour. Go ahead.
Wait, let's let's talk about the 10th first, because it is such a pivotal drama, because it takes these 5 black families who are in a predominantly white neighborhood.
Right.
I mean, city.
Yeah.
And these are upper middle class.
Upper class, successful. Financially, but they still have sorrows, troubles, joys, and tribulations. You see, this is, and they're multicultural, multiracial relationships in and out of Birmingham. Back in the city in Birmingham, that compelled me.
Right. So, tell me this, because you all kind of want this to be a series.
Yeah, Sean is pitching it this summer again, but it's been playing on the ex-vice president of BET, Curtis Simmons' news station, HBCU X Network. For 3 months he had it playing. He wants it to be a series. So we have a lot of people still interested in the 10th, thank you. And I love the 10th. It's special to my heart because I'm always compelled to act. It takes something very special to compel me to take the responsibility to be the director. And the 10th, and the crew.
Tell the audience how important a crew is to, I don't care if you have the best actors. Tell them about that.
You can have the best writing. You can have the finest actors. You can have a talented director with a vision. But if you don't have a crew of artists, and I say artists because an artist gives it soul. It gives it an extra layer of passion and emotion that a technician can't give it. He could just be accurate technically. This crew, Fred Mossman is the post-production supervisor.
That is so important.
I think about post when I'm directing, Nicholas Carr.
Well, let's tell the audience what post is. That means after the film
after
is
we
done.
Filmed, yes.
Then post is how you do the editing. You do so much.
Yeah. Oh, there's pre-production, everything that happens before you film. There's production. That's when you're filming, and we're go time. Post-production is everything that happens after. So I told them I would direct the 10th if I had this crew that I'd worked on the Midnight Hour with, as they were artists. I knew all 3 of the ones I wanted. Fred Mossman, he's the supervisor of the crew and post supervisor and the crew supervisor. Nicholas Carr is a brilliant director of photography and camera operator and editor. And then we had Eben Louise Mans on all sound. And we did the 10th with them, and we did Getting Out, our new film, with them.
It's funny. I mean, it's great to have just one person devoted to sound. Wouldn't it be? Because we had small budgets in ours, and I mean, we were all just pitching in. Sometimes you had to do 2 or 3 things.
Yeah, it's life in Indies, guerrilla. Yeah. But it's about excellence. It's about that personal pride in the actor and the director and the producer and the crew, that you could take a job and say yes as an actor, as an artist. If it's $200, if it's nothing, if it's $2 million, you're going to make it the best you possibly can.
You have to, because of the artistry within you.
You have to.
You have to. Now, tell us about the Midnight Hour, and you should hear about this, people. And the one thing I was impressed with, everything they use diversity. They use multi-ethnic casts and everything. So everybody gets a chance to work.
Oh,
So
in the midnight hour? Oh, met Lee Martin when I first came back to acting. I'd been gone for 13 years. I had I have late stage Lyme's disease. I'd gotten ill, very ill. Didn't find out for 5 years. Had a stroke. I came back 13 years later, and the first person that cast me was this talented, prolific writer, director, producer in a local TV series called Lee Martin's The Midnight Hour that had been going for 5 years. And he cast me and gave me 3 roles. It's an anthology TV series, so you play new roles. So my first role, I walked on, and actually I brought my old childhood acting partner, Don Couture, and we had a reunion. It had been 25 years on that show. And I met this crew on this show and this prolific writer, Lee Martin, and I worked on The Midnight Hour for 2 years playing new roles.
now some of the plots of the different segments. Tell us about it.
Murder mystery. It's very much in the Hitchcock vein and kind of Rod Serling kind of, but more
Like
Hitchcock.
Twilight Zone was Rod Serling.
Rod Serling back in the Night Gallery Twilight Zone
Right.
days. But Lee has his own voice, and but very much he's dear to my heart because he gave me. I mean, I came back. It was Lee Martin that said, I want you," and he kept me. I mean, we took a break because the crew moved to Florida, but we still have one new episode called "Embrace the Black Scorpion." We're about to air, and I think everybody
Where
will
will
love
it air?
It's gonna air. It's gonna air on the local TV and the World Wide Web. I don't have the exact stations, but I promise to
Let
get.
me know.
I
Let me
will.
know because I want to see it. See, so many of our actors here in Michigan are just excellent, pure excellent. And a lot of you know this because a lot of you have probably gone to plays or some of you have seen these indie films. In fact, we're going to show our indie film maybe May or June. And I'm going to have Don Couture, who we were talking about. He played.
him.
He starred in it basically.
Talented.
And very talented, but we're having members of the cast in and we're going to discuss it. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting
I'm
because I'm
excited.
going to use this as a forum right here. So tell me this. What do you find? Say, I always get this from people. I want to get into acting. What do you tell people?
I get letters. I get texts. I get
Facebook.
Facebook. I get 4 times a week young actors ask me this, and I'll say this. You can be born with a lot of raw talent, but you need training on that moment because you have to act at 9 o'clock right now, 10 takes. You need training for when you're not feeling inspired to create an atmosphere for inspiration to happen a little more often. So you need talent, you need training, you need passion, a compulsion, a desire to do it, to get up and go. You need perseverance, and you need that openness to adapt and refine, and that will take you to your goal.
And commitment.
That commitment.
And commitment. I mean,
Never
that
give up.
is so important, that commitment, because one scene in Trayvon's Footsteps, my film, we had to film at 3 o'clock in the morning at a gas station.
I remember that.
And so here we're all there. And the reason why we picked 3 o'clock and not 8 o'clock at night was because we needed the least amount of people coming in and out.
Yeah.
But I forgot it was after the club. And so some people were coming in, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was a lot better than it was, but people had to be wide awake and everything like that. So you have to, like you say, flexibility, training and so forth.
Listening and your concentration of attention is everything as an actor because it takes you to your sense of belief in living truthfully in these imaginary circumstances.
Right.
I got that advice. I was given advice from Robert Wagner I'd met before I moved to LA to be a film actor.
Heart to heart.
Heart to heart, it takes a thief. But he was like a son to my childhood idol, Spencer Tracy.
You're right.
And he passed on advice to me from Spencer Tracy, you see. So it was very dear to me. He said, don't let him catch you acting.
Right. Oh, okay.
Really listen. Be there fully. Don't imitate anybody else. There's only one you. And don't quit until you get it. And I never forgot that.
Right,
you know?
right. Well, I saw your trailer and I saw, like, on here you played a doctor on the 10th.
Right, that's
but you
rare.
also played a person, and look him up, Jerry Hayes, if you want
On
to get him
IMDb,
on
yeah.
YouTube or YouTube. You
YouTube,
can,
I have trailers.
right?
Yeah,
You have
my
trailers,
demo reels. Yeah.
and demo reels where he smothers a young woman.
Oh, I'm always killing them with a weapon or with a lot of love in all my roles. I think that it's.
Well, I noticed that you reenacted the role of Michael in The
Oh,
Godfather.
you
yes,
found
I
that?
did.
Oh, you
I saw
found
that.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I saw that.
I was 29 years old, and I fell in love with short films. And I would do original pieces, and I would take classics and make them my own. Because I heard a quote that for however many actors can play Hamlet, that's how many Hamlets there was. So that's what I did with that. Wow, I can't believe you found that. That's
Yes,
oh my
I did.
God,
I
wow,
do.
you
I
did
do
your
my
research.
research.
You did. Oh
Hey,
my.
don't play with me on research. I
Wow,
do it.
wow.
So, how do you prepare yourself for, say, a role as a mobster or a murderer?
Well,
Because you're not,
I'm a preparer. Yeah.
but you're not a murderer.
No, but we all have a little bit of something. You hate a mosquito. It irritates you.
It's an
It's
intent.
I want to kill this thing. Get
Right.
it off me. It's a very. So I think to a degree we all have a little bit of all the emotions within us. You see, but I just start with I am the role. I build myself up. You were born poor, you were born wealthy, you were born to these parents, and you kind of.
You give your character a backstory.
Me, I do not intellectually, just enough that sparks my sense of belief to live true in those given circumstances. Just when you try to amuse the audience, they wait to be amused. It's when you stop trying to amuse the audience, Stanislavski says, that they become amused.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are certain ways. It's the Stanislavski method, and then there's this James Lang theory.
Yeah.
James Lang said, well, if I'm sad, if I just bend over and I cry, I have the posture of it, I could do it. Wherein Stanislavski was more into recall.
Lee Strasberg was the big emotional recall guy.
Right. But
yeah.
it's somewhat,
They touched on it.
Go to that emotion where you really felt it.
Emotion, I never go to it directly. I'm always indirect because I go to the things that cause the emotion.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I believe, I focus, I listen, I know what I want in a scene and why I want it before I walk in, then I let it go and I go moment to moment and I trust my instincts.
I know what I was going to ask you before we wrap up too.
Yeah.
Is the fact that what if somebody's 40 years old and they've always had this thing where they really want to act, and maybe they've taken some workshops and so forth. What would you advise them to do next if they want to start applying their craft?
If you exist in life, you can exist on film at any age, however you look. It just, once again, is that raw talent, training. Cary Grant said that. If you exist in life, you can exist on film.
Right. But sometimes on some films, they do have a coach. What gets me is these people, these rappers, and some of these singers, like Christine McVie. She won an American Idol once, and I didn't think she was a good actress, and they had her on this show called the one about Broadway that used to come out. It was year before last.
I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah, it was on. I watched it every week.
And they would act.
Yes, it had a plot and everything, but I never could believe her. And that's the thing about acting.
The bottom line.
Acting is believing.
That's my question when I see myself. Do I believe it? If you believe it, it's true. Do I believe it? Is it interesting? Do you believe it?
And a good script.
Yeah, and a good script. Nick Felice coming next week, getting out to in Novi at the Motor City Film Festival.
Getting Out?
Motor City Horror Film Festival. Getting Out. We've won 11 awards. It's a made in Michigan indie film. We've won 11 awards in the film festival. We've been selected about 12 or 14, I think, film festivals. And I play a mobster, a hitman, actually, not a mobster. I play a hitman. Nick Felice wrote this from Missouri, came here, helped grab the crew. We did it with the same crew. And wonderful cast. Kevin Hartzman, George Evagostis, Ashley Renee Everest, Denise Amelia, myself, and Michael Renda, and Joe Elliott. There you go.
Wow, great cast.
Great cast, yeah.
And a great story. So I just can't wait. Hopefully, I'll be able to get a chance to see that and so forth. You are on Facebook.
I am on
so
Facebook.
if people have questions and everything, because
free.
and I encourage you to look up Jerry Hayes on YouTube. You may even catch him playing Michael or the guy.
Oh my, that's old when I was a boy. Oh boy.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
but
good though. You
Thank
did
you.
a good job.
I still had a little talent back then, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But you never stop learning as an actor.
Never.
Never stop learning.
It's just different how you learn. It's more
Yeah.
doing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Jerry Hayes for coming in today, and I really enjoy. I'm going to have to see the 10th. I haven't been able to
Oh,
see
and
it
come see
yet.
Getting Out. I want to see Getting Out.
I want to see that
yeah,
too.
Yeah, both.
Made in Michigan films. That's what we need to
what
be
I'm
looking
about.
for,
I
and that's
love
what
Michigan.
you're about.
I'm about that.
And excuse me, Table Talk is next. Stay tuned, and if you are a singer or a musician, we have some information that's very important to you on intellectual property right at the beginning of Table Talk. So we'll be back in a moment.